You often hear about some of the controversies and mistakes that happen in schools and agencies and districts across the country as it relates to making and implementing significant technology decisions. What we wanted to do is to highlight 3 different executive leaders with whom we're working who either have made or are making important decisions around the use of technology. And we want to share with others how you're making those decisions and the types of challenges that you are facing or have faced, and also with implementation. So we've identified you in Ohio. We've identified and already interviewed a school district superintendent in New Jersey and an instructional technology leader in Iredell, Statesville, North Carolina, so that people can hear what executive leaders are doing as far as grappling with some of these challenges. Have you already made significant decisions around technology, or are you in that process?
Well, I pretty much will cover one event that turned out to be huge for us, and that was a technology refresh. Chrome Box is kind of what we chose to replace those Zero clients. One of the challenges that we had was, classroom switches. I went from 1 computer to now I had 5 internet connections. Completed a huge wireless upgrade as part of E-Rate the prior year. So I had plenty of bandwidth with wireless, but I kind of wanted to put as much on the wire as I could so that I could have kind of a more robust environment once we got on the path of BYOD. I went from about 180 Chromebooks last summer to almost 2,000 Chrome devices.
My gosh.
In a very short period of time.
Yeah. So John, what were the outcomes you expected? What did you expect to see students and teachers doing differently with this major refresh?
A shift from a Windows in-house environment to a cloud-based environment with Google it's a huge paradigm shift, especially in the classroom. We found that the students were actually more willing to get on the Chrome devices and do meaningful work instead of just trying to surf the internet and find out where they could get to. Having the technology coaches work with the teachers, and these weren't necessarily IT people. I hired teachers come out of the classroom to teach other teachers on how to use the technology.
That makes sense.
So, and it's really worked very well. So I think it's one of the best decisions that we've made technology-wise in a year.
Who did you involve in the decision with the refresh?
So obviously finance is always involved. They watch the purse strings. My team was involved in the decision-making process for the Chrome Box or Chromebook. With the initial rollout of the 6 carts, everything went smoothly. And the students became more engaged and really wanted to start to take care of the devices. So big shift in what we've typically seen and what happens in the classroom. So the coaches working with teachers engaged the teachers adapted and accepted the shift in technology, and it just took off. We bought 213 laptops this past year for teachers, so kind of well ahead of schedule, but I bought used. I have 262 classrooms, not only in our brick and mortar schools, but we also take these services to children's residential centers for children waiting for adjudication, or placed by the courts or parents if there's problems in the home. And we take the classroom to these facilities. So we're currently in 22 facilities around the state. And providing those services. So, and we provide the same technology and the same opportunities for learning to these students so that they have a chance to get out of that scenario and get back into the regular education environment. So, and I guess going back to who helped with the decision making, it was the chief academic officer, myself, kind of came up with the scheme, mapped out the overall concept of doing this, starting small with the Chrome device and the coaches. And, we just used the decision analysis to make that decision,
Uh-huh.
both from the financial side, the training side, the usefulness side, um, being Windows centric for 15 years in our environment, switching to Apple is a huge learning curve for many of our staff.
Mm-hmm.
Chrome was easily adaptable,
Yeah.
and evidence kind of showed that because it just mushroomed.
What I've heard you say is some key pieces of this whole refresh process was the involvement of the right people.
Yes,
You had a systematic approach to various decisions that you made. So you carefully thought through what you wanted to accomplish and then considered the different vendors. You had commitment from your board because
yes,
they had to find additional monies to fund this. And you also had clear expectations with your vendors. And so when they faltered, then they came back and made it right because the expectations were clear as to what you wanted from them.
exactly.
Yeah. So what advice would you give someone else who's just starting a major refresh?
Well, first of all, never assume that your statement of work or the paperwork submitted by your vendor or your vendor's vendor, that everyone is on the same page. I really like to use a form, if you will. So it's a RASIC, so it's a responsibility matrix. So you can list your high-level tasks,
Mm-hmm.
and who's responsible and who approves and who's informed and who consults, and so that everybody's on the same page. Again, it's a systematic approach to
Exactly.
creating that communication portal and making sure everybody's on the same page, and that limits the finger pointing.
Exactly. It sounds like involving the right people and clarity in your process is really a key. Well, this has been very helpful discussion, and I think other leaders across the country will be quite interested in what Summit Academy is doing. I wish you the best of luck in your transition, and know that we're very happy to have the opportunity to continue working with you.
Thank you. We'll talk to you later.
Okay, bye-bye.